I was 30 years old, been married for over 10 years. I had 3 of the most beautiful boys in the world. I finally had a job that I loved. I was a leader in my church, I was a leader in my community, and after 10 years of being in the military, we'd finally moved back home and we were living close to family again. Everything seemed to be lining up. Everything was going good. And then all that changed. And it changed because I failed my marriage in the worst way you can imagine. And that failure led to divorce. The one thing that I promised myself I would never do, the one thing that I swore to protect my sons from, I did. And I was alone. Not physically. I had my friends and I had my family. I had my sons with me several times each month. But inside, I was alone. I was convinced that I could never tell anyone what I had done or what led up to it because they couldn't understand. Because no one had done what I had done. And I fell into depression. I had no energy. I hated myself. I couldn't even stand to look at myself in the mirror because I hated what I saw so much. I struggled with my sons calling me dad because I didn't feel I was worthy of that title. I was going nowhere. And finally, one day I had enough. There had to be a way out of the spiral. So I was referred to a gentleman that I'd never met before. We're sitting in a crowded restaurant and I tell him everything. I tell him about the years of addiction that I learned to manage. I tell him about the emotional affairs that I had. And finally, I tell him about the failure that led to my divorce. When I finished, he asked me if I wanted him to be real. And I said yes, outwardly, but inwardly, I knew what was coming next. I could already hear him say that you're beyond recovery. And he looked at me and he said, I failed in my marriage. I'm divorced. And I too have struggled with depression. And at that moment, a weight was lifted from my soul because for the first time I knew that I was not alone. I was sitting across from someone who had done what I had done and had been where I had been. That's the moment I can pinpoint where my healing began. And out of that, the Not Alone Project was born. We're about 2 things at the Not Alone Project. First, we're about exposing people to the truth that they are not alone. They are not the only one who's been raped. They're not the only one who's gone through divorce. You're not the only one who had an abusive father. You're not the only one who has an eating disorder. You are not alone. Others have been in your shoes. Secondly, we're a platform. For the one who's too shy to sit in front of the camera or stand on the stage and tell their story, we're their platform. For the one who's been told that they've done too much wrong, that there's too much failure in their past for them to invest in the lives of others, we are their platform. The fact is that because of what you've done, you may be uniquely equipped to lead someone to restoration like no one else can. We need your help. The Not Alone Project is nothing without you. We need your stories. We need mentors. We need people who have had enough and are ready to change the landscape in our culture's search for hope, who are tired of seeing all the private poverty that's around them and are ready to challenge the status quo. We need people who believe that there has to be more than hiding pain and just getting by. Come to the Not Alone Project. Tell your story. Become a mentor. And join us in changing the world.